A Quiet Place Part 2 was written and directed by John Kransinski and stars his wife Emily Blunt, Noah Jupe, Melissa Simmons, DJ Household, Cillian Murphy, and is the sequel to the well-respected A Quiet Place released in 2018. Following the deadly events at home, the Abbott family must now face the terrors of the outside world as they continue their fight for survival in silence. Forced to venture into the unknown, they quickly realize that the creatures that hunt by sound are not the only threat that lurks beyond the sand path. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of A Quiet Place 2. Did you like this movie? Did you hate it? Or are you somewhere in the middle? I am very curious. Let's talk about A Quiet Place Part 2. And with that being said, this is spoiler free. The first A Quiet Place came out in 2018, and it was one of those movies that you didn't expect that was going to be any good, but the movie came out and it won a lot of people over. It was one of the highest grossing films of 2018 and one of the highest grossing horror films of the last decade. And it was so well respected that initially it was inevitable to make a sequel. And at first there wasn't going to be a sequel, but after the movie came out and made so much money, it made enough to warrant a sequel, and here we are with A Quiet Place Part 2. So I was really excited when this was announced because at first this was one of my most anticipated horror movies of last year, but then the pandemic happened and just screwed everything up.
You should be ashamed of yourself!
Hey, damn you, Walt Whitman! I hate you, Walt freaking Whitman! Leave some grass my ass!
Aw, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
And through delay after delay, this movie kept getting pushed back until eventually it settled on its current release date that we have now. And with that movie being said, this was how you do a great sequel. This is definitely one of the better horror sequels to a movie I've seen, and it is one of the best sequels I've seen in my lifetime. It respects what came before with the first movie, but it also is willing to do a lot of things differently. For one, starting off with the positives, I do like that how at the beginning of the movie, which this was in the trailer, which is not a spoiler, we did get to see how this whole thing with the creatures started and how people were living in silence. I did like how this movie opened up in the first 10 minutes, and it was the most enthralling 10 minutes that I saw. It was creepy, it was suspenseful, and it was pretty freaking terrifying. So I was very, very impressed with what they were doing there in that opening couple minutes. Also, we do get a lot more with the creatures this time around. I do like a lot more what they do with the creatures. I think it's very interesting, it's very intriguing to see what else they do with the creatures. The creatures are even as scarier as this time around, and they look a lot better this time around. We do, of course, have the family having to fight for their lives, of course, and you care about this family so much, because the first movie was more about Lee and Evelyn trying to protect the family, whereas there's a switch up around, and it's now the kids who have to protect their mother. Not to say that the main actress herself is underutilized in this movie, because she isn't. She does a good job in the role, and I'll get to that. But I felt like that you got to know more this time around with the kids, and it goes in its own direction, and it spans the world very well. And one thing I was worried going in was this going to be a retread of the first movie, and it wasn't a complete retread of the first movie. It managed to do something different, but also respect what came before. There is a lot more dialogue this time around, but there is still a lot of sign language that still has to be spoken in this movie, of course. Of course, because of the main character of Reagan being deaf. So they do keep that around while also giving it some dialogue. The action scenes in this movie are pretty awesome here for the action and the intense horror moments that are given. John Krasinski wrote and directed this movie and also produced this, and he just got the creative freedom to do whatever he wanted. So he knew the story that he wanted to tell, and he took he took a big risk here. So in that respect, I gotta give John Krasinski a lot of credit for doing what he wanted to do. Of course, the acting in this movie is great from everyone, especially on Emily Blunt's part as Evelyn. She's not in it. Well, she's in it very much, but she kind of takes a little bit of a backseat, which isn't a bad thing because it's more focused on the kids. But she does a great job in the role. And while we're on the subject of Emily Blunt, of course, you know this is coming. Here's a little montage for her, and we'll get back into the review. Enjoy. But yeah, Emily Blunt is great as always. She is a great actress, so she makes this character of Evelyn work. Melissa Simmons and Noah Jupe as Reagan Abbott and Marcus Abbott, they do a really good job in the roles as well. You have Digimon Hounsu as the man on the island, who he's great in here, but I did wish he was in this movie a little bit more than he is. Killian Murphy is a very nice introduction as Emmett. He's very good in his role. And he does have good chemistry with Melissa Simmons' character, Reagan. They do form a bond, and they ultimately become the two badasses of the film. You do get some stuff with Killian Murphy, which I'm not going to spoil, but they do a good job at telling us what's going on here, and to them I commend it for that. Of course, John Kransinski, he does show up, and this is a little bit for flashbacks, because as his character died in the last film. But of course, I just mentioned his writing and direction. The cinematography work in this movie is well shot film, it's well lit. Is by Polly Morgan. There's a lot of good camera shots, a lot of good camera trickery that John Kransinski does with the camera. Visual effects, of course, the creatures look a lot better. And you can tell this Industrial Light Magic doing the great effects. So I definitely have to commend them for doing that. Also, Marco Beltrami's score is once again great here. I do like the score from Marco Beltrami. It's really well done. And it's very creepy and atmospheric at times. It does respect exactly what came before in the previous movie with its score. And for a movie that has been pushed back so many times, I thought that that this was not going to be very well handled. But no, there was no studio interference. You could tell it was all John Krasinski, and he got to make the movie he wanted to make. So in a lot of respects, I do have to commend him for that. Also, the sound design in this movie is just as great as the first movie's sound design, especially on the creatures and sound effects and when they're hiding, and then you see a lot of the intense motion. And this movie gets pretty intense for R rating, so that is something you definitely didn't expect to see here. Now, of course, there is my one little issue I do have, and that is the way this movie ends. And it does end a little bit abrupt for a third movie, which Krasinski, he does have plans to do. But before we get that third movie, we're getting a little bit of a spin-off that doesn't involve these characters, but another set of these characters. So that's really my only real negative towards the movie. But at the end of the day, A Quiet Place Part 2 does exactly what a horror sequel should do. It expands the world established in its predecessor, but it also goes in its own direction. It has great acting, great performances, great action scenes, great sound design, and it is a worthy follow-up to a very well-respected horror film from last decade that's definitely one of my favorites. And John Kransinski has created one of the best horror sequels in recent memory, and it lived up to the long-anticipated rate. So I'm giving A Quiet Place Part 2 a better than Vampire Academy. Definitely check this out in theaters. If not, you could wait when it's released on Paramount Plus in Blu-ray and 4K. I can't wait till it comes out on Blu-ray combo pack. So in the comment section down below, what did you guys think of A Quiet Place Part 2? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Or are you somewhere right in the middle? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to click the subscribe button, hit that like button, comment down below what you think. Be sure to share this video, hit that notification bell for more videos and live streams. Otherwise, you won't be getting any notifications for those. All my social media links in the description box down below. And as always, you guys keep it cool and join the Epictasticness.